let me tell y'all something straight from the heart. Because this topic right here, this ain't no light conversation. This one heavy, this one real. There's been a lot of subjects I've talked about in my life. Faith, success, love, struggle. But this one right here opened my eyes in a way I wasn't expecting. This is the story of why Islam bans alcohol and drugs, and why that rule, that discipline, that command is not harsh, not extreme, but one of the most protective, loving, and wise things I've ever seen in a belief system. But before I get into Islam, let me start with a story I witnessed with my own eyes. Something I ain't never forgotten. Years ago, I was on a flight going from London to Johannesburg. It was a long ride, 11 hours. And I remember this brother sitting across from me, maybe early 40s, wearing jeans, blazer, wedding ring. He looked like a family man. You know, the type you can just tell he works hard. Probably a good man trying to hold life together. A few hours into the flight, I saw the flight attendant come by with the drink cart. No big deal. Everybody ordering wine, whiskey, champagne. Long flight. Folks want to relax. I get it. But this brother, he didn't just have one drink. He didn't just have two. He ordered 4 drinks in 30 minutes. Then 2 more, then another. Now ain't my business. Everybody groaned. But I could tell something was wrong. Nobody drinks like that for fun. That look in his eyes, it was pain. Something was eating that man alive. After a while, he started getting loud. Real loud, cussing, yelling. The flight attendants tried to calm him down, but he snapped on him. At one point, he just broke down crying right in the middle of business class. Full-grown man, sobbing like he was alone in the world. And I'll never forget, he reached inside his blazer, pulled out a crumpled photograph, and started kissing it. My kids, he kept saying my babies. He was drunk, broken, lost. Turns out his wife had left him because of his drinking. He lost his marriage, lost his home. He was flying to South Africa to start over. But his demons came with him. They were sitting right there in seat 7A. And I said to myself, that's what alcohol really does. People say it helps you escape. All it does is pull out your pain and drag it across the floor for the world to see. So fast forward years later, I start learning about Islam. And the more I dig, the more I realize this ain't just some religious rule. This is protection. Islam bans alcohol and drugs, not to punish people, but to save them from destruction. 'Cause think about it. How many people lost everything because of alcohol? How many families destroyed by drugs? How many careers ended? How many people embarrassed themselves, humiliated themselves, hurt people they love, all because of something they chose to put inside their body? You tell me what's more dangerous in this world today, a virus or addiction? I've been seeing alcohol take good men and grind them into dirt. I've seen drugs take brilliant young people, folks that had talent, heart, personality, and turn them into ghosts. I've seen alcohol turn mothers into strangers. I've seen drugs turn fathers into monsters. I've seen it steal people from themselves. But here's what shocked me. Islam doesn't wait for you to fall apart. Islam stops you at the door because that's love. That's protection. That's what you do when you care about somebody. You don't wait for them to overdose. You don't wait for them to blow up their marriage. You don't wait for them to become violent, broken, and homeless. You protect them before the fire starts. Now look, I grew up in a world where drinks were normal. In comedy clubs, in show beers, everywhere you go, somebody handing you a drink. It's normal. Celebrations, pop champagne, stress, pour whiskey, hard day, take a shot. Weekend, turn up. But all we really doing is training ourselves to run from our problems instead of facing them. Alcohol is liquid escape. Drugs are chemical denial. Addiction is slavery disguised as freedom. And Islam said, no, not to joy, not to happiness, not to fun, but to self-destruction. When I realized that, suddenly it didn't feel like some strict rule anymore. It felt wise, like something God would say. Let me tell you something. People look at Muslims say, oh man, y'all can't drink. Y'all missing out. But every Muslim I talked to told me they ain't missing nothing. They got peace, clarity, direction, a clean heart, a clear mind. That's the real high. And let's be real. Go ahead and keep it honest with me. You ever seen somebody drunk and said to yourself, now that is a wise decision maker right there? No, you didn't. Alcohol makes people act stupid, loud, aggressive, emotional, reckless. Then what they say the next morning? Oh bro, what I do last night? That sentence been destroying lives for centuries. But here's the thing about Islam. It doesn't just ban things. It explains why. It protects the mind. In Islam, your mind, your error is a gift from God. Your ability to think clearly is sacred because you can't worship God. You can't make good decisions. You can't lead your family. You can't even know yourself if you ain't sober. And that makes sense to me. See, this ain't about controlling people. It's about freeing them from the chains that pretend to be freedom. Because if you can't go a week without a drink, baby girl, that ain't freedom. Playboy, that ain't power. That's a chain. A soft chain. The kind you don't see until it's too late. And Islam, it don't play with chains. It cuts them. So when people ask me now, Steve, what do you think about Islam banning alcohol and drugs? I tell them, maybe the real question is, why didn't we listen sooner? Let me tell you something. The more I listen to Muslims explain why alcohol and drugs are banned in Islam, the more I started to realize I have been looking at freedom the wrong way my entire life. See, in the West, they sell you this idea you only live once. Do what you want, chase pleasure, enjoy yourself. But nobody talks about what happens when pleasure takes control of you. Nobody warns you what happens when fun becomes a slow poison. They just say, hey man, relax. It's just a little drink. That's how it begins. Just a little. But life don't work like that. Nothing stays little. Little anger becomes violence. Little lies become betrayal. And a little drink. It becomes a habit, then a dependency, then a sickness dressed up as entertainment. I remember once back in my early comedy days, I was backstage with some folks. Everybody was drinking. The room was loud, smoky, all that fake happiness in the air. And I'm watching this one guy. He was a young comedian just starting out. He told me he wanted to make it big. He had talent too. But that night, I watched him drink until he couldn't even remember his own set. He got on stage, slurred every joke, stumbled off, career over before it even started. Not because he didn't have potential, but because he handed control of his life to a bottle at the time. I didn't judge him. I just thought, man, bad night. But now that I look back, that wasn't just a bad night. That was a trap. A trap nobody talks about until it's too late. So one day, I asked a Muslim brother straight up, why does Islam ban alcohol completely? Why not just teach people how to control it? Why go so extreme? Just cut it off entirely. He looked at me calm as ever and said something I will never forget. Steve, Islam doesn't wait for fire to become an inferno before trying to stop it. It stops the spark. Man, that hit hard. He said, your mind is your greatest gift. If something clouds it, weakens it, or controls it, it becomes your enemy. Alcohol doesn't just change how you walk. It changes how you think, how you speak, how you treat people, and even how you treat yourself. Why would God want that for you? Now I had heard sermons. I'd heard advice. I'd heard lectures my whole life. But that was the first time I heard wisdom like that in a way I couldn't argue with. Then he told me something deeper. He said, in Islam, your body isn't even yours to abuse. It's a loan from God. One day you return it and you're asked how you used it. I paused because if that's true, if my body really is a trust from God, then what excuse do I have to poison it? I can't say it's my life, my body. I didn't create myself. I didn't choose my heartbeat. I don't control my breath. So how is it mine? Man, I had never thought like that. But it went even deeper. This brother said, alcohol doesn't just harm you. It harms families. It destroys relationships. It turns good men, cruel and gentle women angry. It breaks homes and damages children. And right there, he had me. Because I've seen that story too many times. I've seen fathers come home drunk and bring hell with them. I've seen mothers cry quietly while trying to hold a broken family together. I've seen kids grow up scared not of monsters in the closet, but of the sound of their own daddy's shoes coming down the hallway. That ain't entertainment. That ain't culture. That ain't fun. That's destruction. And Islam ain't here for destruction. Islam is here for protection. I said, so you're telling me Islam bans alcohol because it protects the mind and family? He said, yes, Islam protects 5 things above everything else. Faith, life, family, wealth, and the mind. Anything that destroys those is forbidden, not to control you, but to protect you from your own weaknesses and from other people's harm. I looked at him and I said, but people should be free to make their own choices. And he gave me a truth I'll take to my grave. Steve, you think addiction is freedom? I went silent. He was right. Freedom ain't doing whatever you feel like. Freedom is not being controlled by whatever destroys you. And that's when I understood something powerful. Islam doesn't ban alcohol to limit your life. It bans alcohol to protect the quality of your life. It wants you awake, clear, present, strong, in control, focused, not drifting through life numb. Let me ask you something. Look at the world today. Depression up, anxiety up, broken homes everywhere, domestic abuse everywhere, drunk driving, thousands of families wiped out every year. And what do people do to escape the pain? They drink more. They smoke more. They pop pills. They're trying to heal pain by numbing it. But pain doesn't go away when you numb it. You just get used to ignoring it until it destroys you silently. Islam says don't numb your pain. Heal it. Face life with dignity. Face yourself. So I told that brother, I hear you about alcohol, but what about drugs in? He said, same thing. Anything that intoxicates, clouds judgment, or takes control of your mind. It's forbidden. The mind is sacred. He told me about how the Prophet Muhammad said, whatever intoxicates in large amounts is also forbidden in small amounts. Not illegal, not punishable, not you're evil if you do it. No, forbidden because it destroys you. And Islam isn't a religion that watches you fall apart and then says, well, you should have made better choices. No, Islam blocks the road that leads to destruction before you even get there. I asked him, but how do Muslims survive socially without drinking? How do they celebrate? He smiled and said, by remembering what real joy feels like. Real joy doesn't need chemicals. Man, I felt that. I started thinking about my own life. My best moments, they didn't come from a bottle. They came from love, family, prayer, purpose, success that was earned, not bought in a glass. Moments that were real moments I remember. I don't care who you are. Deep down you know that too. The best moments in life are the ones you remember clear. The ones you feel in your heart, not just your bloodstream. And here's something I'll say. Honestly, I didn't grow up Muslim. I wasn't raised around Islam. But what I learned is Islam ain't trying to kill joy. It's trying to protect it. It's trying to save you before you self-destruct. Because truth is, everybody talking about living life, but very few people are actually protecting their life. Alcohol and drugs, they don't just kill the body slow. They kill the soul slow. They destroy discipline, destroy dignity, and steal time. And time is the greatest gift God gave you. If something is stealing your time, your clarity, your power, it ain't freedom. It's chains disguised as fun. And Islam came to break chains. You want me to be real with you? After hearing all this, I didn't walk away thinking Islam is strict. I walked away thinking Islam is wise because a rule without wisdom is oppression. But a rule with wisdom, that's protection. And when I finally understood that, it changed everything. I stopped asking, why does Islam ban alcohol and drugs, and started asking, what is Islam trying to save us from? Now listen, after everything I learned after sitting with real Muslims, asking hard questions and understanding the why behind the bans, I realized something powerful. Islam doesn't just ban alcohol and drugs. Islam replaces them. See? That's what people don't get. They think Islam just takes things away. They think it restricts you, limits you, locks you inside rules. But what they don't see is what Islam gives back in return. Islam takes away poison and gives you clarity. It takes away addiction and gives you discipline. It takes away numbness and gives you purpose. It takes away escape and gives you real healing. Let me tell you, one of the biggest lies in this world is that drugs and alcohol help people cope. No, they don't. They help people avoid coping. They bury pain. They don't heal it. They whisper in your ear, don't deal with your pain. Run from it. But what Islam teaches is the exact opposite. Face your pain. Bring it to God. Cry if you have to. Break down if you must. But do not run from life. Walk through it with faith. Man, when I heard that, I felt something shift inside me because deep down I knew it was true. You know what I realized? Most people don't drink because they're happy. They drink because they're empty. They're trying to fill a hole inside that nothing in this world seems to satisfy. They tried chasing money, still empty. They tried chasing people, still empty. They tried chasing pleasure, still empty. So then they start chasing bottles, pills, smoke, anything that numbs the emptiness for a moment. But Islam teaches that emptiness is not a curse. It's a signal, a call from your soul, a reminder that you were not created just to eat, sleep, work, and die. You were created to know God. And until you answer that call, nothing fills that void. Nothing. Now, somebody might be watching this thinking, Steve, that sounds good. But why do Muslims act so serious about alcohol and drugs? Why do they make it sound so dangerous? Because they know something we choose to ignore. These things destroy people silently. Alcohol doesn't ruin you overnight. Drugs don't steal your future in one day. It's slow, gradual. It starts casual, a weekend thing, a celebration thing, a stress thing. Then one day it becomes a survival thing. I met a man once who told me, Steve, I don't drink to party. I drink to feel normal. I didn't know what to say to that because that ain't living. That's slavery. Quiet slavery hidden behind a smile. The world won't tell you that, but Islam will. Islam doesn't sugarcoat the truth. It doesn't hide behind social drinking and just vibing. No, Islam tells you boldly, don't sell your soul to a bottle. Don't let a substance own your mind. Don't give your heart to anything that destroys you. You know what that is? That's love. That's protection. And I'll tell you something that really moved me. Muslims pray 5 times a day before learning anything about Islam. I used to think, man, that's extreme. 5 times every day. But now I understand it's protection. Because when you connect your soul 5 times a day, you don't go looking for fake peace and chemicals. You don't need a drink to calm your nerves. You got prayer. You don't need to escape your head. You got faith. You don't crack under life. You stay guided through life. One Muslim brother told me, Steve, life is hard, but God never asked us to carry pain alone. That right there might be the softest and strongest thing I ever heard. Now let's talk real for a moment. Look at the world. Look what alcohol and drugs have done. How many marriages died because of it? How many children grew up afraid because of it? How many young people lost their potential because of it? How many dreams were buried in a bottle? How many minds were destroyed by powder and pills? And yet people still defend it. They call it culture. They call it social life. They call it celebration.